Welcome, amazing, incredible realtors, agents, investors from across the country. Today is Thursday, January 10th, 2018, and this is Mastermind call number 210. I have three things real quick before we get to the queue and my partners. I neglected to mention that our winner of the week 2 weeks ago was Jim Forsyth. Jim had 4 or 5 fresh listings, and he's like Johnny Appleseed. He's spreading all the leads across the country. He's gone into several more markets. So, Jim, we appreciate you being a long-term client, and congratulations. Last week, it was tough last week. We had 5 really good, compelling success stories, but we finally chose Paula Taylor. Paula had a $1.6 million listing and 2 more solid appointments, and she just had a really good mindset, really good attitude. She's really working this the right way, coming from provide value first. So, Paula, if your salesperson, I think it's Darcy, hasn't gotten in touch with you, get in touch with her and let her know what you would like for your reward. And then finally, we posted this, guys. I think Darcy posted it in our Facebook group, but I don't believe we had a response. We have one of our subscribers that has a buyer. Has a buyer, that is correct, for a hotel in Miami Beach. If any of you are commercial agents in South Florida or know a commercial agent in South Florida, please get in touch with Darcy, and she will forward that referral on to you. It's darci@alltheleads.com. And that's all I've got. Tim, what would you like to share with the group?
Not a thing other than that, we assumed that December would potentially be kind of slow because it sort of sometimes is, and we did all we could to make sure that it wasn't that way for us, and apparently many of you did the same things because we heard a lot of interesting comments from folks that we were making calls for and sending things out for during December, and it was a great month for some people. The other thing is, obviously, everybody's kind of hitting the ground running. We've had one of our biggest, certainly our biggest start in history. A lot of people are joining us and adding probate to their quiver. So we're excited about that. We know it's going to be the best year we've ever had, and we're committed to making it be the best year you've ever had. So let's get on with it together.
Absolutely. Just to add to that, Tim, we're seeing an increasing number of our agents that have been with us a while adding 2nd, 3rd, and 4th counties. So, hey, if it works, this works in virtually any county. If you're in a market where you can expand, just give us a call. We'd be glad to help you do that, like Jim Forsyth is doing. Chad, what would you like to share with the group?
Oh, let's see. January Probate Mastery was announced yesterday. It's going to be Monday the 21st, Tuesday the 22nd, and Wednesday the 23rd, all starting at 2 p.m. For anyone who's not aware of what that is, it's our we do a group training once a month, kind of our advanced training that comes with a certification. And we've got several seats available. We've got maybe 20 people in right now, but there's room for more. So if you want to sign up, just go to the Education and Training tab, either in the subscriber portal or on the main website, and all the details are there.
Excellent. And just a reminder, once you've taken Probate Mastery, you are an alumni. You can take it as many times as you like. It gets better every month. We're learning. You guys are helping us learn by sharing your successes and challenges with Chad. So, Chad, I know you've had a number of people that have taken it, several times, correct?
Yeah, I've got 6 people already in the January class. One of them is on her 5th time through.
Jeez, that's great.
Yeah.
We'll have her teaching the course by the end of the year, right?
Yeah, hopefully so.
All right, excellent. Tom, are you on the call?
Yes, I am. I just want to encourage everyone to take Chad's Mastery class. I work with all of our customers initially up front, and I do an orientation session. And for those out there that have not had that with me, I'm always available to do that. I normally send out information right after you sign up for that. But if I've missed you or anything, just let support know, and I'll get back in touch with you. But everyone I work with that have taken the Mastery class, they've just really been very pleased with the course, but it gives them such an in-depth foundation to start the program with. So strongly encourage that. Then the last thing, just remind everybody, if you ever need anything, we're here. Just send us an email to support@alltheleads.com, or if you're in your account area, under the support tab, there's a contact us. We do track all those items and then assign the appropriate person to get back to you quickly. So please reach out for us. That's what we're here for.
Perfect, and we will get to the people in the queue. We have 3 in there now. Plenty of room for more, guys. Nothing is out of bounds. We want your challenges, successes. We're here to help you for up to the next hour, and hopefully we'll get some more people in the queue. Just hit *6 and then hit 1. In the meantime, the first up is phone number ending in 6855. You're up first.
Good morning. This is Cliff. I'm down here in Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Hey, Cliff.
I just signed up for the program, and so I'm getting geared up. I'm going to have you folks do the mailings and the first round of ISA calls to get rolling. I didn't get a notice of the orientation, by the way. So should I write to support and say include me?
Yeah, Tom is on the call. He'll find you and he'll do that. Typically, he'll reach out to you, Cliff. How recent did you sign up? Just in the last few days?
About a week, 10 days ago, and I have. I'm expecting my first county-wide list next week. So we'll be rolling out next week.
I'm sure Tom's on the call. I'm sure he'll find you, Cliff, in Palm Beach. But do send an email to support@alltheleads and say, I want to schedule my orientation call, please.
Yeah, Cliff, this is Tom. I'll double check and make sure and get in touch with you, okay?
Yeah, okay, that's great. I appreciate that. So I'm looking for tips as I go forward here. I'm wondering, do you guys, with the first round, first letter to go out, there's been a bunch of calls, there's been some contact. Do you guys filter the list or sort the list beyond that to prioritize where follow-up calls should go?
So the best way
how do you divide between A and B, for example, better and not as good?
So the CRM that we provide is intentionally very simple, but we do give you the ability to customize it some. But the rating field, so when you call a lead for the first time, you can mark them as follow-up, lost, whatever. You could, excuse me, it's interesting how people use it. And most people develop their own system, but you can also use hashtag like make custom. So there's a rating that you would like that we don't have as one of the default ratings. You can add that, like, has commercial assets could be one that you added in your market. So when you speak to somebody, then you could use that. But the idea is to call each of them, because we don't know the story until we speak to the people, right? So we don't know if they own real estate, what they intend to do with the real estate. What we do know is that they're in one of the most stressful situations a human can be in, and they need professional help most of the time. So the idea is to pick up the phone, call each of them, and then use that rating system to help you save time on subsequent rounds of calling. So you can opt them out from calls and mailing, so they don't show up in future rounds of your campaign. You can rate them follow-up, rate them hot, cold, and even put custom tags to rate them any way you would like to. But take a look at that. There are some demo leads in your account. I think we push 5 or 10 leads through just so you can kind of get familiar with the system before your leads show up. So if you go into subscriber portal, my probate leads, and then open that sample list. Just work the CRM a little, open each of the tabs at the bottom of each contact record, and I think you'll clearly kind of see what your system will be.
Do many of the people have success with getting listings without an appointment face-to-face, and how do they go about doing that? I know Jim mentioned that a while back, that he had some good
so in your market,
with
it's certainly doable. Jim proofed that out. So the approach really depends on, for me, it's more like your level of tech savvy and your clients. So you can do it over, join.me or Zoom or, something on a tech platform. So it's just like a face-to-face. Or you can simply, you can use a PDF through your email, or you can snail mail a package and then follow up and then have the appointment over the phone. Typically, there's always a caretaker in the neighborhood. Someone has a key. So what I coach everybody, get access to the property first so you can properly assess the situation. Because if you intend to provide options, then you need to actually see and understand the situation. So if you're going to do a virtual appointment, try to get out to the property, take a look at, what's the real property like, what's the condition, what's the value, and then what's the personal property situation. Then you're much more prepared to have that conversation whenever during the listing appointment. So I usually try to ask, and I'll start with like the offer to do it on Zoom or join.me. If they don't understand that, then I'll usually settle in. Well, let me mail you. I'll email everybody the same package that we're going to be looking at. And you could meet one person at the house and have everybody else on a conference line, or you could just do everybody. You may have to do everybody on the conference line.
I see.
That's my preference. Jim is more old school than me. Like, he basically picked up the phone, called them, talked to them. He sent them a listing agreement, and they mailed it back with the keys. And it can be that simple too.
Wow. Yeah. Well, it makes
you're gonna find in our market down here, it's going to be the exception when you have a face-to-face meeting. A vast majority of yours are going to be, in other parts of the country, and those are the most motivated people. Obviously, they need some feet on the ground, somebody local that can help them. And
that's worth talking about too, just so you understand. So if somebody from New York, let's say they were still a New York resident, that's where their primary residence was, but they had a condo in Fort Lauderdale, then they're going to have to file probate in New York, but they have to file ancillary probate in Fort Lauderdale. So they're going to be under even more stress. They have even more to manage because they have assets spread across more than one courthouse. So those folks are really motivated. If you are looking for an absolute priority for your call list, call the out-of-state owners first, or the out-of-state personal reps first. Yeah. But there's still people in town. They're under almost as much stress, and they have a very high need for this service. So don't just call the out-of-town ones. Make sure you're touching everybody.
How much effort do you put into screening your affiliates, like the state sales companies, to make sure that they are providing quality service? How far do you go with researching them?
For me, I tend to just use intuition and people experience. Okay. Like if you speak to somebody and it seems like you guys are aligned on core business values, and that they seem like an honest, they have integrity and they seem honest and ethical, then they're probably a pretty good partner until proven otherwise. So I just met people in the community. I would ask, who do you know that does this or that? And I would, there's some, I'm like, yep, might call you sometime, and they never heard from me. But it's not hard to find good people in this world, I don't think. If they, I guess the biggest thing I look for is, are they empathetic, and do they share that value with me? Because that's what my clients are going to expect, because that's all they're going to get from me. So if it's somebody that has an estate sale company that just started last year and they're just in it to make money and that's all they talk about, probably not. That's not the guy I'm going to work with. I want somebody who understands what the family's going through, and their service is 100% designed around that. And it's not about money, it's about service. And then money always follows good service.
Would you say that before making even the first call, that I should have referrals for the most common needs in place?
No, because if I put $1 million listing on your desk and told you you couldn't put it in MLS until you had that team, how long would it take you?
Not long.
Probably you could get it done today, right? So
yeah, probably.
It's a really common question, and people oftentimes get intimidated by this building a team. But Reality is, if you needed a senior moving company, you would have one within the next 20 minutes. If you had to meet a cash buyer, you could find one in the next 2 days. You can go to the courthouse steps and find somebody who's trying to buy a house right now. So don't feel like you have to have your dream team built out before you can do anything. Just speak with confidence that you know, based on your business skills, you can meet the right individual between the time you speak to somebody and the time you have to sit face to face. I mean, there's no time like now to get started, but you don't have to have every single seat filled before you run your first campaign.
Are there any leads or potential leads that you should rule out right away? Any telltale signs that this is going to be a problem, not worth the effort?
No, but I will tell you where the traps are. A lot of people are apprehensive to call a surviving spouse. And if you go to alltheleads.com, on the top right, there's a search bar. Just type in word spouse, and that'll bring up a blog post that I did that explains why you should call every surviving spouse. And I'll spare you that because it's there. You can watch it there. But that's one of the traps. Most people are apprehensive to make that phone call. Sometimes you're going to find bankers will actually be the personal representative. So you'll see like SunTrust Bank, and that's because someone had a wealth manager they trusted more than their family, or they didn't want to put their family through it. I've never gotten a deal from any of those guys, but I still mail because you never know. And that's the thing about this list. You never know where the business is coming from. We have tons of stories of people that, they went ahead and called even though the deceased last known address was in a trailer park or in an apartment building, and then ended up nailing like $2-3 million worth of listings from one phone call. So scrubbing your list is one of the worst things you can do, in my opinion, because it's simple to pick up the phone, focus on the people, and hear it directly from them, whether they need your help or not, versus trying to guess based on a very limited set of data points.
What's the usual second phone call after a second letter, the second month? We sent out the first letter, we've tried to call, I guess if we have talked to them, we could set up a second call that makes sense for them, but if we haven't reached them, we're sending the second letter.
If you haven't had, until you have two-way dialogue, just repeat the same sequence. So send a letter, follow the phone call. I use the same letter and the same message until because that's what works to initiate the conversation. Once you've initiated and you understand what their specific needs are, that's when it can go in a million different directions. And the big reason we don't try to script everything. But until you have made contact and had two-way dialogue, it's, pretty consistent. Just stick with the letters we have and the message we use, and that will, that'll get the hand raises you need from the folks who really need help right now.
This is all really good advice.
All right.
I'll let some other folks take over. Thank you, boys.
All right. Thank you so much. Welcome, and thank you for participating. Great questions. Next up is phone number ending in 0769. You're up next.
0769. That's me. What's up, guys?
That's
Paul
you.
Campbell,
Yes, sir. You're the winner. Hey, Paul, how you doing?
Man, I'm doing great. I was just calling to share a couple of successes with you guys, and thank you for this program. We're really enjoying it up here.
Great. Go ahead, please.
All right. So a couple things. I think we've been with you guys for about 4 months or so, and we're about to buy up every county that we can hit with a 2-hour drive. So we're going to do that this weekend. We got 2 counties already, and in that 4 months, we've done 2 listings. We've done 1. Somebody just wanted to sell us the house at a discount. We were able to wholesale that to one of our cash investors at what would have been about triple the commission. And we've got 2 more guys that have committed to selling us houses at pretty steep discounts in the next 3 months when their probate actually clears up and they're allowed to do that. So we're pretty stoked right now. But we had a really interesting win that I don't know if a lot of people are thinking about. We've used your program to do 2 different things, one of which is recruiting. So as a team leader, we're always looking for good agents. And since not a lot of people are really hitting this niche in our market, we've led with it when we've been recruiting some agents, and they've been very, very excited about it once we give them a few details. We actually picked up a great agent on our team just the other day, and I'm pretty sure that it was because of this program and what we've learned from you guys. And the other big win was we kind of revamped our entire marketing plan based on this team concept. It's always aligned really well with our core values. We really enjoy, the kind of like, I guess you'd call it like business consulting versus trying to sell people on one or two things, like either a list or a buy. And so we did the same marketing campaigns with pre-foreclosures, red tags, and a few other things, and we're starting to see some massive traction behind that. So, man,
awesome.
If people aren't already doing that, those are two good ones.
Get ready for your best year ever.
Oh, man, 2019 has huge written all over it. We're ready.
So I want to talk more about, and thank you for sharing all that. I'd like to hear more about your recruiting process and the kind of people you're attracting and why they're being successful so quickly. Now, there's a lot of brokers on this call that could benefit from that.
Well, I mean, there's two different types of recruiting that we do. We drank the EXP Kool-Aid, so we're always looking for people that want to just join up the company. But I also run a team here, and we're a little bit more specific about those types of people. And our wheelhouse really kind of came from that Chris Waters book about building a real estate team. And that's the agent that's already licensed, been licensed for about a year, went to some big box brokerage, and they handed them a phone book and a desk and told them good luck. And they've been hustling for a year, but they're barely making ends meet, and they need somebody to coach them, give them some leads, give them a strategy, give them a pipeline, help them through that second through fourth year while they ramp up. Obviously, there's some splits associated with that when we recruit them on our team, so they've got to be the right type of person. They got to be team-oriented. And I got to give a shout out to my guy Vince, who's probably on this call, who you guys probably know. He was just that guy. He'd been in the business for about a year, and I essentially turned over this program to him because I was busy rebuilding our team up here, and he turned that into those numbers that I just talked about within about 90 days. So good for him, and he's always been willing to help anybody that has any questions about how he's doing it too. So just gonna throw that out there.
Nice. I'll give you something that's kind of counter to your point, but you do with it what you will. There's a lady in Washington State that came from the nursing home industry into real estate. And she's a team leader. She has a KW expansion team in several different states. Her model is to recruit her agents from the long-term care industry. And it may be something for you guys to consider, because with an 87% failure rate in our industry, there's a lot of bad habits and people who are in it for the wrong reasons. So if you find somebody who understands the end-of-life transition already, they can make an incredible empathetic agent in this space. So as you guys are working the nursing homes to kind of build your referral network, start to look in that industry. You may find your best agents ever, and the right person can get a real estate license in 2 to 3 weeks without really even killing themselves studying. So you may consider that, and just an idea for everybody else on the call, if you're looking to recruit A-plus agents for this space, getting one that already understands, the Medicare industry or the nursing home industry or the senior moving industry. They've already worked with families, even estate sales, and you can show them how to greatly increase their income and have more freedom, and not have to train them on the things that are hardest to teach, right?
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right, and I actually wrote that down, and we're gonna take a peek at that. The only reason why I said that 1 year license wheelhouse is because I'm lazy, and the 1 year mark, those people, I don't have to retrain them on contracts or the basics. They've already gone through that. It's more leads and follow up and your core values and people that buy into that versus having to do classes on where to dot your I's and cross your T's. So.
Come on, man! You're gonna make Vince do all the work, anyways.
Yeah, I might. I just might.
Hey,
We
Paul,
got
I
some
can't
movement
thank you
going
enough.
on. They're doing a good
Yeah.
job. So.
I can't thank you enough. I think you're going to be hard to beat for the win of the week. You got some great stuff going on. You have a great attitude, and you have my permission to add as many counties as you want. I don't mind.
All right, we're on it. We're going to give you guys
All
a
right,
call
buddy.
tomorrow about those deals we talked about yesterday. I appreciate you guys.
Awesome. We appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for sharing. We
Yeah, thanks,
appreciate it.
Paul.
All right. I didn't mean to cut him off. We have 8 more people in the queue. I want to make sure we get to everyone. Next up is phone number ending in 0448. You're up next.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. It's Anthony again. We spoke last week. I'm the guy with the lightning strike in 2 days. That's how you always remember me.
Yep.
So, had some progress since I spoke with you guys last week. Was able to get 3 applications out to my agents to get them scheduled with appointments. But one thing I'm noticing, we get on average about 300 to 310 leads per month. And definitely the people these phone calls, people, they answer the phone because it doesn't seem like they're getting very solicited. There is another, I think, agent out there that is sending letters out as well, because I called a group of people that I didn't send a letter to, and I used that in my opening script, and they were like, yeah, actually I got your letter, but we're all good at this time. So that was one way of me finding out that someone else is sending a letter out too. I don't know if it's an investor or a realtor, but neither here nor there. It's okay. My question is, a lot of people tell me they end the conversation kind of quickly. They're friendly, but they tell me that the probate is taken care of. They're in good hands. They're all taken care of. But thank you. And sometimes I've gotten just hung up on right at that point. A lot of times people are saying that there is no property in the estate. So from there, I delete the lead right from there. So I just move on. I'm calling every lead. I'm not cherry picking by any means or trying to scrub them. I'm just scrubbing them through phone calls, through live contacts. If I don't get them on the phone, I just save the lead and I hit it again. My question is, when someone says that they're done with probate and we're all finished, if there is an opportunity for me to ask a question before they hang up, what are some good questions to ask them at that point? Besides, was there any property in this estate?
Well, I just want to clarify, because I heard, and you may not have said it, but what I heard the first time is they've got everything handled, and then you just now said when the probate's closed. So what are you hearing? Like, we got it handled?
Yeah, I'll hear that. I'll hear we have it all taken care of. Thank you. Then they try to rush me on the phone, and then have heard that we're all done. Probate's all done.
That's highly unlikely. We're pulling the data within 30 days of the initial filing, and it's very unlikely that they have completed a probate in 30 days. Regardless of which way they're putting it, you've got to kind of, we're trying to figure out how to put this, identify and label the emotion. So what they're really telling you is, hey, listen, I don't know you, I don't trust you, and I'm not going to talk to you. So I'm going to just use this, trial balloon of, hey, we got it handled. They've already heard from another investor. They've heard from another realtor. They didn't like what they heard. They didn't see value. They already have a realtor in the family. There's no property, and they don't feel like they have to spend their time explaining that to you. That objection goes away if you can break that pattern. So that's why we tell people, don't label yourself as a realtor. Don't label yourself as an investor. Say something different, anything. So I've built a team of people here locally to help families in probate. What's one thing you could use help with right now? And that, like, usually when people get hit with this, it's because they did label themselves and then they let that other person take control of the conversation. So if you can highlight, like, if they're saying, no, we got it all handled. So there's a couple approaches I take to this. The key is tactical empathy. So feel, felt, found is the easiest way I can explain that. I understand how you feel. 9 out of 10 of our best clients felt the same way or said the same thing. What they found is they didn't understand what I was calling to offer. So would you like to take 2 minutes and understand, or do you really have it all handled? And you kind of have to use your own judgment on, like, if they're being abrasive, you can take it up a few notches and be a little more abrasive, kind of match and mirror that. If they just seem like they're completely overwhelmed, you can, lighten it up a little bit. But validate that identify it, validate it, and then ask them a good open-ended emotional question. So, listen, I understand how you feel. Another good way to enter that is to repeat back to them what they said. So, we got it handled. Oh, you have it handled. And then silence is the key. If you're going to do this, he who speaks first loses. So, if someone says, Anthony, thanks for your call, we got it all handled. Oh, you have it handled? And humans hate awkward silence, right? So you know that there's about a 99.9% chance if you don't speak, they will. And that's usually where rapport starts. So they'll start to pour the story out on you, and you'll hear why they don't need help. And it's going to be in the form of things like, well, you know what, there's just so much going on. We're just not ready to deal with this. Maybe you can call us back in 3 months. Boom, gotcha. You got your first objection. Okay, well, that's interesting. Most of the clients that we speak to say just the same thing. If we could show you a way that you, instead of struggling for the next 90 days, we could do most of it for you, would you be interested? And you'll find yourself in a conversation, and just a couple of questions, they'll engage with you, because what your approach is so much different than what everybody else is saying, which is a me approach. And you're saying, you know what, you're not alone. Other people have felt like this, and I help those people. How can I help you? And so it's hard to tell exactly what the reason is behind it. It doesn't really matter. The humans pretty much all behave the same. So identify the emotion and they're probably scared, they're probably overwhelmed, and they're certainly trying to get you off the phone so you'll leave them alone. But use some of those empathy techniques. So listen, I understand how you feel. Most of our clients felt that way. And what they found is that they didn't understand our service, but as soon as they did, we were sitting face to face and helping them within a matter of days. So do you really not need help, or do you just not trust me? But try some of those on for size. And if you haven't listened to our archived role play calls, we've actually talked about this quite a bit. If you go back through the last 6 months, I bet you 3 out of the 6 have this conversation. So it might help you to go listen to some of the past role play calls.
Yeah.
And you could search the word like handled. If you go to our Facebook group or to the main website and just put in handled, it'll bring up all the conversations where that's been discussed.
Okay. Okay, cool.
All right, sir. Thank you for being a frequent participant. You always have good
Absolutely.
points to bring up, and
Thanks,
congratulations on the results you're getting. Great job.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Next up is phone number ending in 5952. You're up next.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Hear you loud and clear. We can hear you.
Thank
Go ahead.
you. Hi, Jim. It's Saji. Yeah.
Hey, Saji.
Hi. How you doing? Cool.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I had a question for Chad. Okay, I think just like what the gentleman just said. Okay, because I'm coming across that. When you call people, they just tell you the same thing. They have it all handled. Even before you can say anything, kind of like they've hung up. So it's kind of like that's one of the things I'm having difficulties with. So I was just wondering, like, Todd, what would be the best initial approach? Because I can tell you what like I've been telling people, okay? Like when I call, I say, hi, kind of like, my name is Sajid, and I was calling you regarding the estate of so-and-so, and I wanted to know if you may be interested in selling any real estate associated with that estate. The reason I say that, make it that broad, is because I don't want to be specific, because the only lead I've gotten, when I called, that was in the property that was referenced wasn't even the property they wanted to sell. It was something else entirely. So I was just wondering, Chad, what is the best approach? And I have another question too after that. Like with respect to attorneys, what is the best approach to go after attorneys. I mean, I don't have a problem going to their offices, but it's trying to break through, with the secretary and all of that. I just seem to have a problem with.
Yep. So where you're going off the rails is in the first 10 seconds of your conversation. You're going straight for real estate, and that's where you're turning these people off. What we've seen happen over the last 2 years, as more people have kind of became aware of probate as a real estate niche. You've got people sending letters, there's not many people making phone calls, but there are some. But a lot of people are sending letters. So what that brought us was the gift of what you're talking about. People assuming they already know who you are and what you do, and they don't want to talk to you because they see no real value in the offers they've already looked at, right? So the big shift has been, I guess the biggest lesson for me is become a better teacher to show people, a better teacher of empathy. So focus on people and situation, and you can talk about real estate once you earn that. And what I mean by that is until you've built rapport, keep your mouth shut about real estate because you're going to screw up your own conversation. So focus on the people and the situation and the overall situation of probate, and it's very easy to segue into real estate. So don't be a realtor, don't be an investor, don't be a broker, whatever that title is. Just trust me, get rid of that. Say something like, "Hi, this is Saji. I sent you a letter last week. Just had a couple minutes at my desk. I wanted to follow up and make sure you understood why we sent that. Do you remember seeing it?" And a lot of times it'll be no, or we've gotten a lot of mail, but you haven't said anything about the estate yet. So you're getting them to engage slowly. And then once they start talking, you say, okay, well, listen, there's a lot of things we can do to help. It really starts with us understanding your situation and your goals, and then we can give you some options, and you decide how and if we work together. What's the number one thing that you would delegate if you could right now? Or what's been the toughest thing for you guys so far? And the house is almost always the biggest problem because it's where most of the value of the estate is held. It's the physical hurdle of getting personal property cleaned out, sold, donated, getting the house clean. Who's going to take off work and do all this stuff? So it's really easy to segue into that by saying, okay, well, listen, one of the first things that most families want to address with us is real estate. So let's talk about that. Is there any property in the estate, and do you guys have a plan for that? And now you're in the real estate conversation. But and that's way more effective than calling up and saying, "Hey, my name's Chad. I'm with ABC Real Estate. Looks like you might have a home you want to sell, huh?" And you're shutting them down right there. So focus on the people and the situation and building rapport, and then you'll have all day to talk about real estate. Once they trust you, they'll tell you everything. And this can all happen in a matter of 2 to 3 minutes if done properly.
And Chad, I think what might be helpful, if I can interrupt you for a second, I think what might be helpful for Soji, I know we're not big believers in scripts, but you do have a seller check sheet, checklist of good questions to ask and the order to ask them in. That's in our fast track training, correct?
Fast track training.
If you look under session or module 3 in fast track, underneath the video there's downloads, and there you'll find the probate seller interview sheet, and that's basically a conversational framework. So there's so many ways these conversations can go. We don't try to script it because it's so easy to get you off script, and that's, to me, is doing you a disservice. So download the probate seller interview sheet. Listen to some of our past role play calls, especially like the last 3 if you haven't listened to. Listen to those. We talk a lot about this, about how to get into the initial conversation, how to get them to engage early, but also how to defeat objections, specific objections. And the second part of your question, the attorneys, it's basically the same approach. So it's a different person and a different type of situation, but what's the attorney's biggest problem? It's the same as yours. They don't have as much time as they need or as much money as they want. So if you can show them ways that your service complements their business and saves them time and makes them money, are they not going to be interested? So
that will be back. I think it's that initial, kind of like, because most of them, they have, assistants. You go to their office, and those people are like roadblocks. So I just wonder how to break through that roadblock with those assistants.
Okay, I'll give you a couple ideas. How long have you been in the business?
Oh, a long time.
Okay, how many past clients do you have, buyers and sellers?
I have quite a ton, but I haven't been working probates until fairly, like in the last year. I've been
So
doing
you have,
mostly
have you helped 100 people buy a home, or 200, or?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Right. So you've helped all those people buy the largest asset they'll probably ever own. What have you done to help them protect it other than put homeowners insurance on it? Like their estate. Like, have you ever helped any of your clients set up an estate plan, write a will, establish a trust?
Not really, no.
If you gave them a free opportunity to explore that, do you think they would appreciate it and it would be a good touch for your sphere of influence?
Yeah. I've thought about that.
Set up a sphere of influence campaign. You can do it by phone, by email, by handwritten letter, however you want. But say, listen, I've as part of my commitment to step up my service in 2019, I'm offering every one of my past clients an hour with our vetted family law attorney. And I would like to at least give you the opportunity to understand your options for, properly structuring your estate. We've helped a lot of families in probate, and I realize I should have done this for every client. So now I'm doing that. And if you have 100 past clients and, even if only 10 of them raise their hand, you've got 10 great reasons to go visit family law attorneys now. And you can open the door with the gatekeeper and say, listen, I'm working a lot with the elderly community, and I've worked with a lot of families going through probate, and it's important to me that my clients don't have to do that. So I'm looking for the right family law or estate planning attorney to partner with, so my clients, can be taken care of. Would you guys be able to sit down and talk with me about that? And that's really going to get their attention. Now, that's probably going to take you a month to execute, like to set up the right campaign, talk to all your past clients, and then have those referrals. Today, you could just walk in and when you meet the gatekeeper, say, hey, my name's Chad. I've got a team of people here that help families going through probate. And I've noticed, we go to the courthouse as part of that process each month, and we notice you guys are a very prominent firm in the market. So I just wanted to introduce myself, help you understand what we do, and see if there's any way we might be able to help each other. And it can be that simple. But if you open the door with referrals, they're really going to take you serious, and it provides a lot of value.
Yeah. Okay. The other thing, I think that makes sense. It's just that I wanted something that I wanted to start right away. Like as soon as, say, maybe tomorrow or next week. To go to lawyer.
So use the second idea. So one of the things that's really effective, the trifold brochures that we produce, a lot of folks have those made specifically for their attorney visits, and they'll show up with a handful of those, and they'll simply go to the gatekeeper and say, listen, we're helping more and more families in this space, and really just wanted to let you know that our service is here in the community, and see if there's any way we might be able to make your lives easier. Has the attorney have 5 minutes? And usually that 5 minutes will turn into an hour or more or longer appointment. And it's going to be way, way, way easier than you think it is right now. Trust me.
Right.
Of all the people that I've coached to do this, everyone has actually gotten up and done office visits. I don't know of a single one that got skunked. Everybody has started to get referrals.
Okay. One more thing that I was going, is it okay, say maybe if I went to an attorney's office and inquired about a specific property, how, go there and said I wanted to talk to this attorney about, a specific property that, that I see that they are the probate attorneys for, because I just had a situation where somebody in lead I was following up with, when I talked to them, like last week, they said the attorney already referred them to another agent.
So I would find a different reason. Like, so I tell everybody, the second you get paperwork signed, whether you're buying the house or listing the house, go introduce yourself to the probate attorney, because you have a valid reason to sit in front of them, and you'll get their attention. If you're doing it because they referred the business to another agent and you're using that as a hook just to get in a conversation, the second they realize that, it's going to destroy rapport if you had it, and you're done. So
no.
I would say it's a good idea, but make sure it's a valid reason, not, hey, you referred this to someone else and I'm here to take it. Like,
No, that's not what I meant. What I meant was this, okay, that, before what it was that I was dealing with this executor, okay? Then finally, when I called him last week, he said, you know what, he's decided to go with another agent, because the attorney referred that agent to him. So I kind of got the idea that, okay, maybe what I could do was that instead of just calling these individuals themselves, maybe that might give me a reason to go to an attorney's office. Maybe they haven't even referred, whether they refer the property or not, but to give me a reason to say, hey, you know what? Please, I wanted to speak to this attorney because of this property that I see that is the probate attorney for. Okay?
But what I'm saying, but let's assume that works, and 5 minutes later you're sitting in a conference room with him. Okay, what do you need? What do you need to know about 123 Walnut Street?
Well, what it is that, hey, you know what? My company will provide great services, kind of like.
We've already, one of my other agents has already got that listed. Is there anything specific you came to talk about today?
Yeah, what I like to do, because I'm a very experienced agent in probate business, I like for us to be able to kind of develop, a mutual referral business where I'm able to send you people, and if you can send me, we'll to develop a mutual referral business where we're able to exchange clients. Because I'd like for you to really try me out to see what I'm capable of doing. And I have referrals of other people that I've worked with, like in probate business.
Hey, Sochi, I apologize. We have like 5 more people in the queue, so let no, it's okay. I don't want to cut you off. Let Ched answer you, and then if we need to take this offline afterwards, just send us an email and we'll continue. But I'll go ahead and let Ched answer you. Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah, and
go ahead, Ched.
If you want to role play this, we can do it one-on-one. I guess I'll just get to the point. I think your approach is very weak, and I think an attorney is going to chew you up if you try that. You're much better off to lead with real value and go in and don't even mention that particular house. Go in there blindly, like you don't think they've ever spoken to a real estate agent in their career, and just lead with what value you provide. Don't try to make it about a property that you have nothing to do with, because it's going to backfire on you, in my opinion.
All right, perfect. Next up, I want to make sure we get to everyone, is phone number ending in 4701. You're up next.
Hi, guys. It's Sheila. Hey, I received an email from another agent that thought her daughter had received my letter. Basically, she just said she prayed I had a good holiday. However, she must tell me that my letter I send out to family members of recently deceased people can be offensive. She said, especially my bottom line, life is pleasant. That is unbelievable, which that line is, it's actually a very nice, anyway, I'm digging it up while I try and find it. But the rest of her email, and I don't know, what's the intent for an agent to do that other than just to be, I wouldn't take the time. Anyway, if you had recently lost a family member and received this, and I hope you have not, you would understand. Also, you might have checked John Henderson did not own any property, which that's going in, and you don't want us to find out whether or not they've got property. So she said, my daughter, Sue Ellen, passed this to me because she was very upset at receiving it. When I talked to her, she didn't sound upset. She did say she passed it on to her agent mother, but she didn't say anything about how horrible it was. Maybe she just didn't want to say that to me. anyway, she said we're all grieving John's death very deeply, and ambulance chasing is this is very disturbing at a time like this. So obviously, I know I'm not the only one that's been called an ambulance chaser, and I haven't responded to this agent because it was set 2 days before Christmas. But I just kind of wanted to see how you guys handle that,
So, back to tactical empathy. What's driving that behavior? What's the emotion?
Probably that her emotion.
Yeah.
No, what's driving her emotion?
What made her take the time to hit you like that?
I think probably because she was upset or jealous that she didn't think of it. I don't know. She's been around for a while. I've been in it 16 years. I know she's been in it, a good number. Is that not correct?
I think it's jealousy. It's pain, right? That's the emotion.
It's pain. Okay.
So whether it's hers or someone she loves, she feels the pain. She feels that person's pain and thinks you stepped out of line. So label that and put it back to her. Say, it seems like, or it sounds like, not I think, or take I away from it, I or me or mine. But it seems like you're upset, like you might have misunderstood why we sent that. And then don't say a word and just leave that there. And then she will probably unload on you. But that's a good thing. That's called dialogue. And when that starts happening, listen to what she's saying. And she's going to draw you a roadmap. She'll tell you what all of her objections and challenges and problems are. Then you can start to address those. So if you say, it seems like you're in pain and you kind of misinterpreted why we sent that, then start listening. And if she's like, well, I am in pain and I think you're a damn ambulance chaser. You think I'm an ambulance chaser? You say back to her exactly what she said to you. You think I'm an ambulance chaser? And again, silence is crucial here. And then let her process her own words and judge herself the way she was judging you, and you'll be shocked at what comes back out. You can turn that ship around in a heartbeat just by using those simple little tactics. So
and would I be calling her, or would I call her daughter? Because her daughter's the one that lost the
it's kind of too late now. So this is something for the next time. It's hard to because she's in a different emotional state now. So this is not valid advice if you just call her up and she's on the golf course. But if she got herself to a mental state where she was willing to write that or pick up the phone and call you and blast you, that's when this works. So when she's in that state of mind, you need to identify her emotion, label it, and then mirror it back to her. And it's amazing how quickly you can diffuse a situation by just doing those three simple things. And what usually will end up happening is you'll get the real story. Their ego will take a step back, and the actual person will start to speak to you. And they'll start to tell you that they'll explain why they're in pain. They'll explain why they're pissed off. They'll explain what reputation they assigned to you before they had ever had an opportunity to speak to you. And those are really simple objections to deal with because you're doing the right things for the right reasons. So they'll just start tossing slow pitches to you, and you can just knock them out of the park. And at the end of a 15-minute conversation, they will have bonded with you, and you'll be the only real estate professional in the world. Now, maybe they don't need your service, but they're not pissed, and they don't think you're an ambulance chaser anymore.
And Sheila, I was going to add, we've got a few more people in the queue, so I got to move on. But I was going to add also, it's like Anthony earlier. We call it a lightning strike. These kind of, you maybe once in doing probate over 2 or 3 years, you might have somebody that calls you that, and you just sort of, like Chad said, got to consider where it came from, and it probably won't happen again. But just in case it does, be prepared next time. But if you're doing the right thing for the right, yeah. Yep.
Sorry, Jim.
And I am.
Yeah.
And I am. So I appreciate that, guys.
To me,
thank you very much.
So I just want to tell you, this happened to me one time, and it was a very similar situation. So it was a realtor in my market whose husband passed away, and I don't scrub my list. So she got a letter she filed probate within a couple of weeks. So she got a letter within a couple of weeks of her husband's death. And she misinterpreted it, and she split me wide open. I mean, she was not a nice woman, not the woman that I had known. And I took a deep breath, and I was like, all right, don't take this personal. It's not you she's aiming this at. And I followed the advice I just gave you, and I sat down and I wrote her a letter explaining exactly what I did to you. Like I actually wrote a letter to her because she was so close to it. And she sent me an email. Actually, she called me and sent an email, like this glowing, like, I mean, she told me how wonderful it was that somebody was doing this in our market, that she hadn't realized it until now, but it was a service that most people would really, really need. And anyways, we had a great relationship, and we've done several deals since. But so don't let one get you down. Like Jim said, you'll uncover these every once in a while. It's not real common. Just what's the reason I went as deep as I did on it. I think it's important for people to understand what's driving that and know how to handle it. So instead of having to hang up the phone and feel like crap about yourself, you can turn it into a good, productive conversation.
Perfect. Next up, and I'm going to try to get to everybody in the queue. If we don't get to all of you, please call us back afterwards and we'll have a private conversation. Next up is phone number ending in 4014. You're up next.
Hi, Chad.
Are you there?
Jim, this is Mandar.
Hey, Mander. Yes, sir.
Hey. So I wanted to ask, Chad, what times during the week are you available for a 15 or 20-minute phone call so that I can ask you some questions, because this is a very tight call. But my question was, and my second question was actually, I'm planning to sign up for Lead Follow, and I wanted to understand how, I know I asked this 2 or 3 weeks ago, how is it going to help me along with the calls that I make to all the probate lists that I'm getting?
Sorry, I'm having trouble hearing you. Are you saying how will Lead Follow help you?
Yeah, how will Lead Follow convert more people along with the calls?
Right.
That I'm making?
So what we're doing, what Lead Follow? So we're taking your probate list and we're creating an audience like up to your last 12 probate lists, and we create a custom audience in Facebook, and now we're even over on the Google platform. So we're finding those people, about 86% of them in the audience, and we're running ads to them. So depending on your budget, we're running photo ads, GIFs, videos, even personal branding ads like that are just Mandar specific. And they're seeing those in the first round of campaigns we just finished up. We had daily impressions. People were seeing ads as many as 25 times per day. So the more branding impressions you have, the more likely you are to have a conversation, right? So every time they go to Facebook or a couple of thousand other websites, they're going to be seeing different content. It's not always going to be the same image or the same ad. We're spinning these, so you're going to have hundreds of variations of your ad that go to a conversational landing page. So whether they're playing Candy Crush or they're on Twitter or they're over on Facebook or they're on Fox News, they're going to be seeing these ads. And from there, they land on a conversational landing page that kind of asks them one question at a time, and depending on their answers, the conversation can go one direction or another. So it's just more opportunities for you to be in front of them passively without you having to do phone prospecting or sending out mail. The second that they engage with your landing page,
want me to get the door? Come in.
Not sure what that was, but go ahead. That was weird.
Sounds like he's got company.
No, not me. It was the next person in the queue. Go ahead, Chad.
Oh, I thought it was Mando. Are you still there, Mando? Okay.
Go ahead.
Anyways, the idea of Lead Follow is to just have more impressions, and we can achieve a digital impression far cheaper than we can with an ISA or a direct mail piece. And to answer the second part of your question, Mandar, if you're still listening, you can email me. Just email support@alltheleads.com and ask for a time slot with me, and I will get you on my calendar to cover what you need to.
Excellent. And we try to wrap these calls up at right at 2. We have one person left who has been in the queue since the beginning, so we're going to run a few minutes over. There are a couple more people in there. I apologize if there's something you need to cover today. Just go to support@alltheleads.com and let us know, and we'll call you right back, and we'll take the conversation offline. The last one who's been very patiently waiting the whole call is phone number ending in 3908. You're last up. Are you there? Exit Realty, phone number ending in 3908. All right. Well, I guess Mandir was the last one this week. Great call.
Sorry, I got muted.
You there? Okay, go ahead. There you are.
Yeah.
Oh.
Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, go ahead.
No.
Sorry, it keeps going in and out. It keeps telling me I'm muted and then unmuted.
Okay, you're good now.
Yeah, it's Sam from Richmond, Virginia. How are you guys?
Hey, so what a great way to end the call, Sam. Hi.
Well, I do have a couple of quick wins. I won't be very long. One, I got a call on Monday from someone who said, she had her inherited mother's house and was finally ready to sell and to call me back. I have sent this woman a couple of a couple of letters. I've called her and left her a couple of voicemails, but that was back in like July of last year. Her mother passed away in September of 2017. She had never called me back, never returned anything. She had saved my business card and finally was ready to do something. Had said she kept meaning to call me, kept putting it off, and now was ready to do something. Mark went on the appointment yesterday, and we got the listing. It's like a $300,000 listing that we really didn't have to do anything for. So that was really cool. And I always hear Chad tell that story about these people might call you up and you have no idea who they are. Yeah, this was exactly that thing.
Yep.
So it was funny. And then the second thing is our attorney prospecting has been great. We have been on, Mark is actually at a lunch with an attorney right now. We have 3 other attorneys who are calling to set up conference calls and meetings just from us going to the offices and providing cookies and flyers and telling them that we're great, and then writing handwritten note cards afterwards. And this month we're going to visit all of them again. So we have probably 20 offices all throughout Central Virginia that we're visiting on a monthly basis and continuously following up with. So it does work. So
what are you going to do now that the Christmas cookies are gone, Sam?
We're going to do something else. I told you we've got this great bakery, this great Italian bakery, which also now they know us very well and we know them. So that's another, local business connection there. But they have just regular Italian cookies that are not necessarily Christmas cookies. So we're still going to stick with the cookies, I think.
Sounds like it worked.
Excellent, Sam. Perfect way to end the call. As always, thank you so much for continuing to come on and to keep sharing your successes. You got to be one of our most successful long-term agents, and certainly with the exception of our in-house people, you're the best ISA I know. And you're welcome. They're equally as good. I don't want to offend anybody, but thanks so much for sharing. We really appreciate it. It's a great way to end the call. Guys, thank you so much. We went a little bit of overtime. Virtually everybody stayed to the end. I want to end this call like I always do. You took an hour and 5 minutes to be here, and we thank you for your time. Take one idea, one thought, one thing that inspired you on this call. Go out and put it into practice and come back next Thursday and share your results with the group. Thank you so much, guys. Make it a great week. We will talk to you same time next Thursday.